Hello and welcome to Let's Learn Physiology. So today is our second class, and in the first class we had learned about what is physiology and the definition, and I tried to explain it to you in a simple way. And we discussed that human physiology will be our main focus of study in our classes. So next, after physiology, we saw how cells are the basic unit of life. Then we saw how a constant environment, internal environment called the milieu interior, is maintained inside our body, and hence we came to the phenomenon of homeostasis. We just had a brief look at this phenomenon, and today we will continue from here only and try to understand it in some details. All right, so let's understand it once again. Extracellular fluid in our body is constant and is similar in all places in the body because it is continually in motion throughout the body. All right, so this extracellular fluid, we can try to understand it in this way, that there are cells in our body all through, and these cells are all lying or surrounded by the extracellular fluid. The extracellular fluid condition or the surrounding of these cells must be maintained in a normal way, that is all the constituent of this extracellular fluid must be present in the normal range that we discussed last time. What is the normal range and how it is different for different constituents of the extracellular fluid. All right, so to maintain this normal condition in the surrounding of cells all through the body, this is what is homeostasis, right? Homeostasis is to maintain a constant condition, okay, nearly constant condition all through the body. So what happens is this extracellular fluid, it is always in motion, and its motion can be described in two forms, like first in the form of blood, which happens in the blood vessels, and then next outside the blood vessels, that is in the interstitial spaces of tissues or the intercellular spaces. All right, interstitial fluid. So what happens is, outside, when there is a blood vessel and blood is flowing, so there are tissues and cells lying outside these blood vessels. All right, so tiny capillaries, these blood vessels branch into tiny capillaries which reach to the tissues. All right, so there are cells all lying, and there is continuous exchange of fluid between these capillaries and the interstitial spaces. All right, so and the nutrients and the gases, everything is in continuous exchange between these capillaries and the intercellular spaces. All right, fine. Now usually the whole extracellular fluid goes into one circuit around our body in around 1 to 6 times per minute. All right, extracellular fluid goes into motion of completing at least one circuit or up to 6 circuit per minute. Okay, and it depends on the activity level of the person. If he is at rest, then only one circuit is usually completed, and in cases of high activity, almost 6 times it is pumped throughout it moves throughout the body. All right, now these capillaries are usually, the membranes of these capillaries are usually permeable to most of the substances present in the plasma, except for the plasma proteins, which are like bigger in size. All right, so they cannot pass through the capillary membranes, but most of the constituents of plasma can easily pass through the capillary membrane and move into the intercellular spaces and back as well. So back and forth motion is continually happening. All right, now this process of diffusion which occurs from the capillaries, inside the capillaries to the interstitial spaces, this process of diffusion, okay, the molecules keep moving by the process of diffusion. So this process of diffusion is caused because of the kinetic motion of the molecules. All the molecules are continually in motion, and this kinetic motion of these molecules results into the diffusion of molecules from the plasma to the interstitial spaces. Okay, so now let's understand what is the origin this extracellular fluid. So there what is the origin of substances into this fluid and how these are excreted out. Okay, so the origin and then removal of substances, how does it occur? So for the origin, like we have first, for example, lungs. So each time the blood passes through the whole body, it also goes through the lungs. Okay, now for example we have heart. Okay, so there is pulmonary circulation. Here we have lungs. So each time the blood goes through the body, it also goes through the lungs. What does it do there? The blood gets fresh oxygen from the lungs. All right, so the blood becomes oxygenated, and the carbon dioxide which it has, now this blood was coming from the tissues. Okay, so this blood was coming from the tissues, and tissues after metabolism cells produce carbon dioxide. So this blood was containing carbon dioxide. Now when the blood goes to the lungs, carbon dioxide is removed and oxygen is introduced, okay, into the blood. Now this way ECF, concentration of oxygen and carbon dioxide, is maintained. Carbon dioxide is the most widely available waste product in the body. All right, now similarly we have GI tract. So nutrients are introduced, nutrients are absorbed into the blood from the GI tract. Nutrients like carbohydrate, or you can say glucose. Then we have fatty acids, and we have amino acids. So these nutrients are absorbed from the blood, from the GI tract into the blood, and those substances which are absorbed but which are not in their simpler form, they go to liver, and their liver metabolizes those things. Okay, so these nutrients are absorbed from the GI tract into the blood, and similarly the undigested food is removed from the GI tract in the form of feces. All right, now liver, what happens is some of the substances which are absorbed into the blood but they are not in the simpler form. For example, there are drugs or drugs. So they move into the liver, and liver metabolizes those. Now liver is a detoxifying organ. It metabolizes, and the metabolic products which are not needed by the body are secreted into bile, and it also moves through the feces out of the body. Now we have kidneys in our body which also help in the removal of waste products. So blood gets filtered in the kidneys. As it moves through the body, it also moves through the kidneys, and the kidneys filter the blood. All right, now when kidneys filter the blood, like it is a nephron here. Nephrons are, what are nephrons? So nephrons are the structural unit of kidney, the cells of the kidney. All right, so we have nephrons. Blood moves into the nephron, and then it moves out of the nephron. So here the blood is filtered and all the unwanted substances are passed down in the form of urine. Alright, and purified or filtered blood moves back to the body. Now this in the nephron, what happens is the filtered blood is also checked for whether it is containing any it is still containing any essential component, any essential substances which are needed by the body. For example, if glucose or amino acids are present in the filtrate of blood, they are reabsorbed back into the body. So reabsorption also occurs in the kidneys. And if the rest of the things are, for example, extra ions or water or urea or creatinine or uric acid, these are the metabolic waste products. All right, so these are secreted out in the urine. All right, so this is how removal of waste products, metabolic end products, happens in our body. So this is all for today, and in our next class we will be studying about some of the control mechanisms of the body which help in maintaining the homeostasis. Okay, so control mechanisms in relation to homeostasis we will be studying, and I think homeostasis will be completed in the next class. So that's all for today. I hope this is beneficial. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll have the next class tomorrow, hopefully. Bye.